First at 5, we're tracking breaking news in an afternoon shooting in Providence. Eyewitness News has learned one person has died after shots rang out earlier today on Westminster Street.
We're told the man was shot after two cars collided, and tonight police are searching for two suspects. Eyewitness News reporter Steve Nielsen is live now in the newsroom with the breaking details.
Well, guys, I just spoke with officials a couple of minutes ago. They tell me that they will be telling us the two suspects that they're looking for in just a few minutes. At this point, we don't have that information, but we should momentarily. This after a 20-year-old man is found shot and killed. Eyewitness News is first on the scene after two cars smashed together in Providence and one man is shot to death.
There was a shooting. Right now we have what appears to be two cars into collision with each other. There's some blood on the seat. One person was shot, taken around hospital.
Westminster Street was blocked off next to Wigan Village for about an hour. Police tell us two suspects rammed what's believed to be a stolen car into the victim's car. Authorities say the two suspects got out and fired at the 20-year-old man. Eyewitnesses say it was at least 5 shots.
Like 6, 7. Yeah, I'm scary.
Well, me and my cousin, we walked to the store, and then we heard gunshots, and then everyone came running out to the liquor store. And when we looked, there was a guy laying in the street.
Police confirmed the 20-year-old man died from the gunfire. They say the two suspects fled the scene.
Investigation is still early. No one was arrested on site.
Windows of the car with blood in the driver's seat were shattered. It was a haunting scene for several eyewitnesses who didn't want to show their faces on camera.
No, he wasn't moving or anything. You can tell he was dead.
So right now we are still waiting for information about those two suspects that police are looking for. We'll of course bring you the latest information on that when we have it. And coming up new at 6, I'll show you something that only our cameras were able to capture as police took evidence out of one of the cars that includes a firearm. In the newsroom, I'm Steve Nielsen.
Working breaking news right now out of Providence, a deadly shooting on Westminster Street.
Police have just released the identity of the victim and the two suspects who are there searching for.
New at 6 tonight, exclusive video of police recovering a piece of evidence in the case.
Eyewitness News reporter Steve Nielsen is live in our newsroom with all the late breaking details.
Yeah, guys, police have just released to us the identity of that victim as 20-year-old Johenllys Gabriel Espinal. Now, the two men police are looking for are considered armed and dangerous, and we have a photo of them that's just into our newsroom. The one on the left is Felix Oliveras. The one on the right is Cogvenark Ricky Maloney. Now, police have an arrest warrant out for the both of them for murder. And now let's take a look at some video our cameras captured at the scene. Johenllys was shot and killed. Only Eyewitness News captures police taking this black firearm out of a damaged car at a scene where one man was shot to death.
There was a shooting. Right now we have what appears to be two cars into collision with each other. There's some blood on the seat. One person was shot, taken around hospital.
That person was later pronounced dead. Police say shots rang out next to Wigan Village on Westminster Street in Providence early in the afternoon Friday. Authorities tell us it started when two suspects rammed what's believed to be a stolen car into a 20-year-old man's car. Police say the two suspects got out of the car and fired at the 20-year-old, killing him. The street was blocked off as authorities recovered evidence, including this firearm. Eyewitnesses say they heard at least 5 shots.
They was real loud. Everybody down there came out, and by the time we can look, he was laying in the street already.
The victim's car had blood in it, and its windows were shattered.
He wasn't moving or anything. You can tell he was dead.
Authorities say the two suspects took off after shooting and killing the 20-year-old. So please take another look here at the two suspects police are looking for, Felix Oliveras and Cogvenark Ricky Maloney. Police consider them armed and dangerous. If you know them, if you see them, if you have any information at all, please get in touch with police immediately. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Steve Nielsen, Eyewitness News.
Providence. One Providence family is in unimaginable pain while police continue to scour the city looking for these two young men. Take a good look at the photo of Felix Oliveras seen and Cogvenark Ricky Maloney. Advertisement. Region. Police want to hear from you if you have seen them, or know where they are. That's because Providence detectives say the pair were involved in gunning down a local man in broad daylight. Lily Dury said, "I know the victim. He's like my brother, but I don't know what to say. I don't know, I can't do it. I can't talk. I'm going to cry." The shocked Dury is talking about the horrific scene Federal Hill neighbors witnessed right in the middle of their day. On a rainy Friday in Providence, Major David Lapidin said, "It looks like we had two vehicles strike each other. Parties got out of one vehicle and shot into the other. We have a person that was taken to Rhode Island Hospital where he was pronounced dead. When the shooting was over, it was 20-year-old Johenllys Gabriel Espinal, John Gabriel Espinal, a Lincoln Tech dental student and dad who was dead, leaving his 2-year-old little girl with no father. Lily Dury said, "He's got a daughter. She's 2. So now she has no father now. What are you supposed to say to your daughter? She always asks for him. Always. We call her Nina, and she was always like a poppy, as in where's my father?" So imagine the victim Gabby, as he's known around Providence, lived in Wigan Village. Sources from the complex tell NBC10 it was the new boyfriend of Gabby's baby's mother who shot 20-year-old Gabby in broad daylight, and then fled. Providence police say they're now on the hunt for Felix Olivares Sr. and Nog Van Ark Ricky Maloney. Major David Lapidin said, "We're looking for him, and hopefully we'll have him in custody, or should I say them very shortly." The pictures of the crime scene say it all. Both windows of Gabby's car were shattered by the heavy gunfire. A half-drunk Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee was still sitting on the passenger seat, and a string of rosary beads dangled from the rearview mirror. Gabby's lifelong friends say they're simply devastated. His buddy Lerone said, "He's not a bad kid at all. He goes to school. He takes care of his daughter. He works. It's not the right thing. It's not right." And when asked if Gabby had any gang affiliations, Lerone said, "No, he's not a gang member. Nothing like that. He's a good kid, going to school and trying to make a better life for him and his child." Providence. The fatal shooting of a 20-year-old man on Westminster Street Friday appeared to be the result of a romantic entanglement that involved the victim, his former girlfriend, and one of 2 suspects in the shooting. Providence Police Maj David Lapidin said the shooting seemed to be motivated by a girlfriend-boyfriend type of thing, adding that the unnamed woman had been dating both the victim, Johenllys Gabriel Espinal, and one of the suspects, Nog Van Ark Ricky Maloney, 21, who has a last known address of 21 Benedict Street, in the West End. Advertisement. On Saturday, the police were still searching for Maloney and Felix Olivares, 20, of 109 Porter Street, in the Washington Park section of the city. The police have issued warrants for both. The police said Espinal was driving out of a parking lot in Wigan Village, a low-rise housing complex off Westminster Street, when his car was rammed by another automobile. The driver of the second car jumped out, shot Espinal and ran off, the police said. Espinal was pronounced dead at Rhode Island Hospital shortly before 1 p.m. Friday. Advertisement. On Saturday, Espinal's family described Gabby as a serious young man, a hard worker whose dream was to finish college next year. He was attending the Lincoln School of Technology, where he was studying to become a dental hygienist, relatives said. According to Espinal's father, Gabriel, Gabby was dating a woman until a few months ago when they stopped seeing each other. The family didn't know her name. Maloney, they said, dated the woman before Espinal met her. On Friday, the former girlfriend visited Wigan Village, looking for Espinal, but, a family member said, he didn't want anything to do with her, work and college. That was his life, said Iris Giants, a friend of the family. He was a very nice guy, never a problem. He was never in gangs. Maloney reportedly has ties to the Youngbloods gang, but the police have not confirmed the shooting was gang-related.
New details now in another murder investigation. Police are still trying to track down the suspect in last Friday's deadly shooting in Providence. The Providence Journal reports authorities in Pennsylvania are looking for Felix Olivares. The 20-year-old reportedly has some family ties in the Berks County area. Olivares is accused of shooting and killing Johenllys Gabriel Espinal on Westminster Street. Police are also looking for a second suspect, 21-year-old Convaric Ricky Maloney of Providence. Investigators say the victim had been in a relationship with a woman who also dated Maloney.
NBC 10 News is working with Rhode Island and Massachusetts state police to profile southern New England's most wanted fugitives. At the top of Rhode Island's list of most wanted fugitives is not just one person, but 2 people. The 2 young men are wanted in a brazen murder in Providence just a few months ago. Nog Van Ark Ricky Maloney is age 21. He's an Asian male. He's 5 feet 7 inches tall, 155 pounds with brown eyes. He's known to have several tattoos, said State Police Lieutenant Todd Neal. Felix Olivares is age 20. He's 6 feet 1 inch tall, approximately 190 pounds, Hispanic male, and has the name Mercedes tattooed on his left arm, Neal said. Olivares and Maloney are both from Providence. Maloney is an alleged gang member and he was arrested by Boston police for assault with a deadly weapon 3 years ago. In this case, investigators say the two men spotted Maloney's ex-girlfriend driving with her new boyfriend in the early afternoon hours of August 9. The two cars crashed on Westminster Street outside victim Johenllys Gabriel Espinal's home. These guys basically just got out of their car and executed this kid right in front of the ex-girlfriend, Neal said after opening fire. The shooters ran off, leaving their car and a murder victim behind. Providence police quickly identified Maloney and Olivares as the suspects at the scene that afternoon. But months later, they have still avoided capture. These guys are tough because there's a lot of different places they could lay their head at night. We're not even sure they're in the state. They do have a lot of friends they could run to, Neal said. Investigators said they think there's a good chance Maloney and Olivares could still be together while on the run.
Breaking news now in a homicide investigation. A Providence man is arrested in New York on first-degree murder charges. Felix Olivares was taken into custody this morning. He's accused of shooting and killing 20-year-old Johenllys Gabriel Espinal on Westminster Street in Providence last August. Olivares will be arraigned in New York as a fugitive from justice, pending extradition back to Rhode Island.
State police said Thursday they have arrested and charged a man in New York wanted in connection with the killing of another man in Providence. Cranston, R.I. Felix A. Olivares, 20, of Providence, was charged with first-degree murder. State police said he'll be arraigned in New York criminal court as a fugitive from justice pending extradition back to Rhode Island. NBC 10 News worked with Rhode Island and Massachusetts state police to profile southern New England's most wanted fugitives. Olivares was among those profiled. Authorities said Olivares and another man, Convanark Ricky Maloney, are accused of fatally shooting 20-year-old Johenllys Gabriel Espinal on August 9, 2013. Providence police quickly identified Maloney and Olivares as the suspects at the scene that afternoon. But months later, they still avoided capture. Police said information was developed by its violent fugitive task force that Olivares was believed to be hiding in Brooklyn, New York. He was tracked to an apartment on 1163 President Street and taken into custody without incident. Providence, R.I. Two men have been indicted by a Providence County grand jury in the August 9, 2013, shooting death of Johenllys Gabriel Espinal, 20, near the Wiggins Village housing complex on Westminster Street in Providence. Felix Olivares, 21, of 109 Porter Street and Convanark Maloney, 23, of 21 Benedict Street. Each face charges of murder, conspiracy and discharging a firearm while committing a crime of violence. Olivares also faces a charge of possession of a firearm without a license. Olivares was arrested in Brooklyn on April 3 on a Providence warrant by members of the Rhode Island State Police Violent Fugitive Task Force, the U.S. Marshals Service, and the New York-New Jersey Regional Fugitive Task Force. He is being held in New York pending his extradition back to Rhode Island. A warrant has been issued for Maloney, the Attorney General's office said in a news release Monday.
Now at 5:30 tonight, one of two Providence men face a judge in connection with a brazen shooting. Felix Olivares is charged with murder in the death of 20-year-old Johenllys Gabriel Espinal last August. And today, he appeared in court on the charges. Eyewitness News reporter Madeline Wright is live in our studio now with the new developments.
Today in court, 21-year-old Felix Olivares pleaded not guilty to murder. A judge ordered him held without bail. Meanwhile, police say his co-accomplice is still on the loose.
Defendant is charged with 1 count of murder.
This is one of 2 men Providence police say killed 20-year-old Johenllys Gabriel Espinal. 21-year-old Felix Olivares stood before a Superior Court judge in Providence Thursday, pleading not guilty to murder. Police say Olivares and 22-year-old Convanark Ricky Maloney shot the victim on a rainy day in August last year.
Right now we have what appears to be 2 cars into collision with each other.
Police say the men drove a stolen car and rammed it into Espinal's car on Westminster Street near the Wiggins Village apartments. Police say Maloney then walked up to the victim's car and shot him several times.
No one was arrested on site.
Investigators told us the victim had been in a relationship with a woman who also dated Maloney. While Maloney is still at large, Olivares is in jail. Police arrested him in Brooklyn, New York, 8 months after the victim's death. The Providence County grand jury indicted Felix Olivares and Convanark Maloney with murder, conspiracy, and discharging a firearm while committing a crime of violence. If you have any idea where Maloney is, Providence police want you to give them a call. Madeline Wright, Eyewitness News.
The father of a murdered young man watched as one of the two Providence men accused of killing his son was arraigned on Thursday. The murder last summer of 20-year-old Johenllys Gabriel Espinal was predicted and could have been prevented, his father said. Felix Olivares, 21, and Cong Van Ark Ricky Maloney, 23, are both charged with Espinal's death, although only Olivares is in custody. Providence police and prosecutors say the two men rammed their vehicle into Espinal's car as he was driving out of the Wigan Village housing complex on August 9. As Espinal sat stunned, the police say, Maloney jumped out and shot him to death. Espinal's father, Gabriel, said Thursday that Maloney had been threatening to kill his son for months for dating Maloney's ex-girlfriend. Espinal said that Maloney shot at his son and the girlfriend as they drove on Cranston Street in April 2013. His son got threatening phone calls from Maloney, who said he was going to kill him. Espinal said. Maloney also beat up his ex-girlfriend and told her that he was going to kill Espinal, the father said. The family reported the alleged shooting and threats to the police, Espinal said, but nothing happened. Maloney is known to be associated with the Johenllys gang, according to the police, and he's been charged with other crimes. In 2010, Maloney was arrested with other gang members in an attack on a man in Massachusetts, according to published reports. Last summer, Cranston police charged Maloney with felony domestic assault and simple domestic assault for an alleged attack on his ex-girlfriend on July 23, 2013. 2 weeks later, police say, Maloney and Olivares killed Espinal. Now, 10 months after Espinal's murder, Maloney remains at large. Olivares was caught in April by the Rhode Island State Police and U.S. Marshals, who found him hiding in an apartment in Brooklyn, New York. A grand jury indicted Olivares and Maloney on charges of murder, conspiracy, and discharging a firearm during a violent crime.
Turning to local coverage now, the trial for a suspect charged in a 2013 murder in the capital city set to get underway today. Jury selection is scheduled to begin in the trial of Felix Olivares. He, along with another man, are charged with the shooting death of Johenllys Gabriel Espinal outside of the Wigan Village housing project in August last year. The second suspect, Ricky Maloney, is still at large.
Jury selection is set to begin on Tuesday in the murder trial of Felix Olivares, one of two men charged with gunning down Johenllys Gabriel Espinal outside the Wigan Village housing project in August 2013. Olivares, 21, and Cong Van Ark Ricky Maloney, 23, have both been charged with killing Espinal, but Maloney fled and has yet to be captured. Espinal was 20. On August 9, 2013, Providence police detectives and state prosecutors say the two men rammed their vehicle into Espinal's car as he was leaving Wigan Village. Espinal sat stunned in his car, the police said, and Maloney is accused of jumping from his car and firing the fatal shot. At the time, Espinal's father, Gabriel Espinal, said Maloney had been threatening to kill his son for months for dating Maloney's former girlfriend. A few months earlier, in April 2013, Espinal said Maloney shot at his son and his girlfriend as they drove on Cranston Street in the city's West End. His son also received threatening phone calls from Maloney, he said. Maloney is a known member of the Johenllys, a well-known street gang in Providence. In July 2013, the police charged Maloney with felony domestic assault and simple domestic assault for an alleged attack on his ex-girlfriend. Those charges remain pending in state court. In April 2014, the U.S. Marshals Service and the Rhode Island State Police captured Olivares, who was hiding in an apartment in Brooklyn, New York. A statewide grand jury indicted Olivares and Maloney for murder, conspiracy and discharging a firearm during a violent crime. Advertisement. Olivares has been held without bail since his arrest and returned to Rhode Island. Meanwhile, the authorities have continued trying to track down Maloney.
But first tonight, testimony gets underway in the murder trial of an accused killer who spent several months on the lam.
Felix Olivares is one of two suspects in the August 2013 shooting death of Johenllys Gabriel Espinal outside a Providence housing complex.
And now the other suspect is still on the run as Olivares faces justice in the courtroom.
Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pliner is live in the newsroom now with the latest developments.
Mike Kelly, good evening. Felix Olivares was captured in Brooklyn, New York in April of this year. So what's the alleged motive at play? Well, the Attorney General's office says at the time it was past versus present love. The torrential rain of August the 9th, 2013, raising the curtains on a saga that has now moved to trial. This murder defendant, Felix Olivares, age 21. Prosecutors say he and another man, Ricky Maloney, ambushed Gabriel Espinal outside Providence's Wiggins Village housing project. Olivares allegedly crashing his vehicle into Espinal's at the complex's entrance on Westminster Street before unloading bullets.
This defendant, armed with that semi-automatic pistol, from no more than 10 feet from the passenger side of the car, begins firing. 10 shots. He's firing into that car through the passenger window over and over and over.
Dean told jurors jealousy spurred the bloodshed. The mother of Ricky Maloney's child was dating Gabe Espinal, pledging a fight mano a mano. Prosecutors allege Olivares and Maloney had no intention of following through.
They were going to take him out. They were going to shoot him. They were going to kill him. They were going to murder him. And that when the time came for them to have the fight, they put their plan into motion and they executed it. And then they ran.
Olivares' attorney deferred her opening statement Wednesday. And Ricky Maloney has never been captured. Now, coming up on Eyewitness News at 6, hear from a woman billed as a major witness in this case, Gabe Espinal's girlfriend. She takes the stand. Live in the newsroom, I'm Jared Pleiter, Eyewitness News.
First at 6 tonight, a local murder trial gets underway. Opening statements began today in the case against Felix Olivares. He's one of 2 people accused of gunning down another man in Providence more than a year ago.
And today, Eyewitness News cameras were inside the courtroom for the first full day of testimony. It's our top local story at 6. Eyewitness News reporter Jared Pleiter is live in the newsroom now with more.
The position of the AG's office is that Gabe Espinal essentially died over a petty love quarrel. The woman at the center, an eyewitness, took the stand on day 1 of testimony. A murder trial squeezed in before Christmas. State against Felix Olivares getting underway Wednesday. Prosecutor John Dean told jurors Olivares, 21, and a second man, 23-year-old Ricky Maloney, ambushed Gabriel Espinal in August 2013. The alleged motive, Espinal was dating Maloney's ex. That woman, Marilyn Urizar, took the stand Wednesday. She testified Espinal was leaving his apartment complex on Providence's Westminster Street when the duo cornered him.
Gabriel gets out of the parking lot and you see the white car and they both crash.
What happened next? Prosecutors say Olivares fired a barrage of 10 shots and Espinal had no chance.
When he was shooting towards Gabriel, where was Gabriel?
In his car.
What position in his car?
Driver's seat.
Was he ever able to get out of the car?
No.
Olivares' attorney deferred her opportunity to provide a contrary narrative. Olivares was captured in Brooklyn, New York, earlier this year. Now, to date, Ricky Maloney has not been captured, and one of the things that John Dean brought up in his opening was that Gabe Espinal supposedly had weapons in his car, but they were not accessible to him. That may return later. In the newsroom, I'm Jared Pleiter, Eyewitness News.
A Superior Court jury deliberated less than 31/2 hours before returning not guilty verdicts on Monday for Felix Olivares, who was charged with participating in the August 2013 murder of Johenllys Gabriel Espinal in the Wiggins Village housing project. Olivares, 21, and Kong Van Ark Ricky Maloney, 23, were both indicted for killing Espinal, but Maloney fled Rhode Island and has yet to be captured. The jury of 6 men and 6 women acquitted Olivares of murder, conspiracy, discharging a firearm and carrying a pistol without a license. Olivares' mother, Maria Sandoval, wept in the hallway outside the 5th floor courtroom with several members of her family. "I am just so happy that they found my son not guilty," she said. "I hope their dreams come true and they find the guilty person." Sandoval was referring to Maloney. Olivares broke into tears and repeatedly hugged his lawyer, Judith Crowell. 9 sheriffs lined the courtroom, but Olivares' handcuffs were removed once the verdict was announced. He was detained for a short period before he was free to leave the courthouse on Benefit Street. Crowell and Scott Erickson, an assistant attorney general, provided the 12-person jury with divergent accounts of what happened on August 9, 2013, a rainy afternoon. Espinal, a passenger in a blue car pulling out of Wiggins Village, was gunned down in a barrage of bullets that pierced his chest and back. Crowell told the jury that Olivares was a passenger in the white car that Maloney was driving and never fired a weapon. Erickson countered that Olivares was the driver and bounded out of the car with a gun and, like Maloney, opened fire. Crowell insisted that Maloney fired all of the shots because he was upset with Espinal for dating his ex-girlfriend. She also said that Maloney and his former girlfriend are parents of a 6-year-old girl. These are acts of passion, rage and fury. Crowell told the jury, that person, firing the shots, is Ricky Maloney, not Felix Olivares. Crowell said that a few weeks before the fatal shooting, Maloney entered his ex-girlfriend's house in Cranston and held a small handgun to her temple. The Cranston police got an arrest warrant for Maloney, a member of the Youngblood Street Gang 142. Ricky Maloney should be held responsible, not Felix Olivares, she said. In April 2013, Espinal's father, Gabriel Espinal, said Maloney shot at his son and his girlfriend as they drove on Cranston Street in the city's West End. He also said that Maloney often called his son and threatened him for dating his former girlfriend. Erickson, the prosecutor, accused Olivares of lying to the jury when he took the stand last week in his own defense. He said Maloney's ex-girlfriend, who was dating Espinal, and 2 other women identified Olivares as the driver of the car and said that he emerged from the driver's seat with a gun. They both started shooting at Gabe, he said. Erickson also wondered why, if Olivares was innocent, did he flee to New York City and Georgia and frequently switched cell phones. Olivares was captured in Brooklyn. He urged the jury to find the defendant guilty of murder. Earlier versions of this report were published at 1:29 p.m.
More developing news now that we first brought to you on Eyewitness News Live at 5. The suspect in a Providence murder case has been found not guilty. The Attorney General's office tells us that Felix Olivares was acquitted of all the counts against him in connection with the August 2013 killing of Johenllys Gabriel Espinal. The jury deliberated for less than 3.5 hours today before returning a verdict. Another suspect, Ricky Maloney, is also charged in the murder but has not yet been captured.
The man who spent 5 years running from a first-degree murder charge in Providence, after he allegedly rammed his car into another vehicle then shot the driver to death in 2013, was arrested Sunday night in Fall River. Congvanark Ricky Maloney, 27, fled following the August 9, 2013, murder of Johenllys Gabriel Espinal, who was 20 years old when he was shot near the entrance of Wigan Village Housing Complex, on Westminster Street in Providence. Espinal was driving out of the parking lot of the housing complex when Maloney and another man, Felix Olivares, slammed into his vehicle with their car, according to Providence police and prosecutors. As Espinal sat in the car stand, Maloney allegedly got out of his vehicle and shot Espinal. He and Olivares, now 25, fled, leaving behind their vehicle. Olivares was captured 4 years ago by the Rhode Island State Police and U.S. Marshals at an apartment in Brooklyn, New York. Advertisement. A Providence County grand jury indicted Maloney and Olivares April 14, 2014, on charges of murder, conspiracy and discharging a firearm while committing a crime of violence. Olivares was found not guilty after a trial in December 2014. After evading arrest for more than 5 years while his name lingered on the list of Rhode Island's top 10 most wanted fugitives, Maloney was taken into custody in Fall River on Sunday evening, at about 10:20 p.m. Tenants of the apartments at 120 15th Street heard a disturbance in the building that sounded like a man beating up a woman, according to a police report on file at Fall River District Court. When no one answered the door to the apartment, the tenants called their landlord, who called police. Police arrived at the apartment and Maloney's girlfriend answered the door with blood on her shirt, forehead and cuts on her forearm. After entering the apartment, officers saw broken household items and glass on the floor, and blood on the bathroom floor. Advertisement. Searching for the man involved in the disturbance, officers tried to open the door to a closet in a child's bedroom, but someone was holding the door shut from the inside. Officers overpowered Maloney, who refused to identify himself to officers, and placed him under arrest. According to the report, an officer who noticed a bulletproof vest and black nylon shoulder holder near the bedroom suspected there may be a gun in the apartment. According to the report, police were granted a warrant to search the apartment. Officers allegedly found a loaded Glock pistol that had been reported stolen, a high-capacity magazine and 2 holsters underneath clothing in the closet of the child's bedroom. Maloney refused to identify himself to officers, and the domestic assault victim did not identify him either. She was treated for her injuries at Charlton Memorial Hospital. Maloney, who appeared to be under the influence of a substance at the time of his arrest, was also taken to the hospital, according to the report. Advertisement. Police at last learned Maloney's identity on Monday after running his fingerprints and discovering he was wanted in Rhode Island in connection with the homicide, said Assistant District Attorney Matthew Friedel. When they ran the analysis, A warrant from the state of Rhode Island came up, said Friedel. Friedel spoke at Maloney's Monday arraignment in district court on 6 new weapons and assault charges stemming from the domestic incident. He appeared wearing loose blue clothing similar to a hospital gown and gazed down at the floor for most of the afternoon hearing. Advertisement. A not guilty plea was entered on Maloney's behalf. He is being held without bail, pending a dangerousness hearing in district court on Thursday. Maloney has a history of domestic violence charges. Cranston police charged Maloney with felony domestic assault and simple assault in 2013. He was known at the time to be associated with the Youngbloods gang. The father of the murder victim, Gabriel Espinal, told the Providence Journal at Olivares June 2014. Arraignment that Maloney had been threatening to kill his son for dating his ex-girlfriend. Advertisement. Gabriel Espinal said his son, a father, held multiple jobs and was studying at Lincoln School of Technology in hopes of becoming a dental hygienist.